Thanks for tuning in to more thoroughbred horse racing talk on the Playbook Sports Horse Report. Prime Sports Network, John Hardoon from the Sheets, joining us along with Mark Lawrence, of course, from PlaybookSports.com. Gentlemen, how are we?
Good evening. How are you guys?
Doing just terrific, guys. Looking forward to the Kentucky Derby in a few weeks. John, I know you're looking forward to going out to Vegas for that Kentucky Derby as well.
Yeah, I'm doing a seminar at the South Point Casino and Hotel Friday evening. So you could actually watch it online. If you got, for anyone that's not going to be in Vegas, they can pick it up at the South Point. Go to their website. I'm sure they'll direct you how to get there.
Terrific.
And next week, not a lot going on because the Derby's in 2 weeks, but we are going to be on the air, so keep that in mind. And then we'll have an extensive, in-depth look into the Kentucky Derby. We're going to go over every horse in the field, so we'll make that available to everybody too, where we're going to break it up into 20 short clips of every horse. We know how fans out there, some of you guys, your attention spans don't last 30 minutes. So we'll give you an opportunity to cherry pick the horses that you want us to get some feedback on. So that'll be coming up in a couple of weeks. Today, we've got the Grade 2 Elkhorn from Keeneland and the Grade 2 Oaklawn Handicap. Before we do that, just want to remind everybody to order your full card of selections. You can go to playbooksports.com. That's for any track, a $25 value. And that's when basically, Mark, you pay for the $25 for the full card from John, and then you get the free $25 value. That's a full card of selections. The only deal is it's got to be on the same day. So, basically, instead of you having to pay $50, you pay $25 for $50 worth of selections. Correct?
2 tracks for the price of one. Yes.
Go.
Nice.
So, and that's at playbooksports.com?
That's correct. Check it out. Click on the horse race report at playbooksports.com.
All right. The Derby preps are done. And since the last time we did a show, last week, the Arkansas Derby Superstock upset Concert Tour. That was a Baffert horse, John. A lot of people surprised that Concert Tour got beat up. I mean, he didn't have anything, it looked like, in that race.
Well, he was surely not squeezed to his max 3 weeks out before the Derby. But that being said, the fact that he didn't go by the one horse inside of him, the 2 horse, I'm sorry, the 1 horse won the race. The 2 horse, that's what concerned me. He was sitting a perfect trip off the 2 who was leading all the way, and they just came up totally empty. And what was disappointing, like I said, was that he didn't go by the inside horse that, he was chasing the whole time. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, no excuses for Concert Tour in that race whatsoever. It was set up really nice for the horse. And John, as you and I talked before the show, we were wondering and scratching our head and wondering why Bob Baffert even entered the horse in the race 3 weeks out from the Derby.
Well, they saw the $1 million purse staring them in the eyes, and they had the 3 to 5 shot or 1 to 5. So they thought they were getting easy pickings without having to squeeze the horse, and they were wrong.
Dead wrong.
And so Superstock was the horse to take advantage. And Superstock, one of 20 horses that will qualify for the Derby, right, Mark?
Yeah, number 3 on the points earned list, Superstock. Just a point out of number 2. That was a big race, a big money race for him, for Steve Asmussen.
Points for that. It's not like
misleading.
Come Derby Day,
from nowhere.
Come Derby Day, he won't be the 3rd choice. I promise you that. As far as betting is concerned,
that's a big guarantee. Yes.
Okay, so the week before that, when we did our show, boy, I was so upset. I lost a big race when that Pletcher long shot buried me in the Wood Memorial with that Bourbonic horse. Now, if Bourbonic just does what he's supposed to, the exacta that we talked about, that because remember we liked that 15 to 1 shot Dynamic won.
The horses that ran 2nd and 3rd. So
Bourbonic just does like he's supposed to. I would have made about $300 in that race. Come on. What are the odds that happens?
Could have should have. 70-1. That's what the odds were.
Unreal.
Maybe long.
And
I think he earned 80 points in the race, guys, and now he's up to 100. But like you said, he's in the same class as Superstock. Those 100 points don't matter for that horse in this race.
That's
it. 50-1 on Derby Day, and he won't hit the board.
Yeah, he would like the race to be at Aqueduct. That's where he's 3 for 3. He's 0 for 3 outside of Aqueduct. Bluegrass was won by Essential Equality. He's going to be the favorite, right? He was 5 for 5. Brad Cox, Luis Saez, they're both having, a great time of it this year. So this is going to be the favorite, right, John?
He will definitely be the favorite, correct. But the favorite on Derby Day may be 4-1, believe it or not.
That's not bad.
No, that's not bad.
Okay.
You
think that much, John? This looks like a really weak field to me.
It is
by
a weak field.
Derby stand.
I'll tell you, I have without seeing the sheets or post positions or anything like that, I, in my heart, believe that either Essential Quality will win or there'll be some major upset, like you'll get $100 horse. Because if he doesn't show up, it becomes, wide open.
Well, at the Santa Anita, the other race was Rock Your World, a 5-1 shot, who's 3 for 3, upset another Baffert horse, Medina Spirit. So what's up with Baffert? His horses are getting upset left and right.
Well, that horse, believe it or not, only ran a 10 winning that race. You had 3 undefeated horses headed for the Derby prior to Concert Tour losing last week. Now you have 2 undefeated horses going in. The horse that you just mentioned and Essential Quality. Both of those horses are undefeated going into the Derby. So,
and the other horses,
the Rock Your World only has, I think, less than a handful of races.
Just 3.
I think underneath.
4 races, or 3 of them on the turf, I think, or 2 of them on the turf and 1 dirt race. Last time was his first race on the dirt.
And Known Agenda, of course, won the Florida Derby. He's won 3 out of 6. That's a Pletcher horse. He upset Greatest Honor, the 4-5 shot in that race. So Greatest Honor could be an interesting horse.
He's not in the Derby. He's not in the Derby anymore. Nope.
Wow.
No. Greatest Honor. Nope.
That's another one that they just raced. He had no reason to run in all 3 of those races. He had enough points, but
They said that horse galloped out. He didn't like it all after he galloped out. The way he came back, they gave him a day off. They ran him again. They didn't like what they saw, and they're giving him a full month off to get ready for down the road. Probably the Belmont. But they realized that the horse just tanked out. It's just too much racing in too short of a period of time for that horse. We saw it coming. We saw it in the race before, and we definitely saw it in the Florida Derby.
All right, so we'll talk more about that next week and the week after as we head up to the Derby. But now it's time to break down the races on Saturday. Both races are race 9s, and it's good because one will start at 5:30. The other will start right after that, close to 6 o'clock Eastern time. The first race is the 1.5-mile race on turf, the Elkhorn. Also, don't forget, after our top 2 races, John's going to give his free pick of the week, so that's coming up later as well. That won't be at Aqueduct. But we start with the Elkhorn, a grade 2 race. And what I don't like about Cross Border is he only has 1 testicle. So this is an issue for me. I don't like betting on horses with 1 testicle, Mark.
Well, I'm really sorry you told me that because I could care less.
The only reason that should have any effect is if you were dating the horse.
This is the first time I've actually seen one of these. I have my ledger that goes over what these horses are. It's the first time I saw an R. I said, "What the hell's an R?" I go, okay, that's the one with 1 testicle. We haven't done that before.
Is it safe to say that he is semi-gelded?
I don't know what that's
believe
about.
Believe it or not, I think you could still breed a Ridgeling because it's not so much that he has 1 testicle. One of them is like hidden up there somewhere. Okay. I don't know. We need to get a vet on and do a show on it. But
okay. Let's. By the way, this is one of 3 horses from Mike Maker, and this is a 4-1 shot. The horse is now here. The interesting thing about this horse that I noticed, John, is that the rider on the horse, and Maker's got 3. The other horse that he has is Tide of the Sea. So he decided to take the 1, or both of them decided to put the better rider on the one. What do you make of that?
Well, Gaffleon is one of his main riders. So, listen, you don't know the details unless you're involved. It turns out, though, that the owner that owns the one also owns the six.
Wow. Okay.
So they're both owned by Three Diamonds Farm. So I would say that the one is better than the six.
But I look at it's interesting. And even though the one does have a better sheet line of consistency, 9.9, 9.8, 9.9, he is coming up at 12. The 6, on the other hand, does have a 7, something that the one does not have. Also, the 6 is 1-for-1 at Keeneland. The one has never raced at Keeneland. The one has never won a 1.5 mile race. He's 0-for-5. The 6 has won 2-for-2 1.5 mile races. So doesn't that make you kind of think that, and you're probably going to get better odds on the 6 as well?
You're going to definitely get better odds on the 6, but I could tell you that the guy that trains the horse and the owners use the sheets. So they see all those 9s that the one has last year. The one has the 6 has 1-7. But so generally speaking, with the exception of the last race that the one ran that was not good, all his previous races win this race. So certainly put him in the thick of things here.
Yeah.
I
mean, look, I think it's a good one if you can get good odds.
It's a big advantage breaking from the rail at 1.5 miles because they go into the turn. You want to be as close to the inside as possible.
Okay. Why would they take Gaffleon off the horse, John? I mean, they got Corrales is running on the horse right now.
They didn't take him. Gaffleon had his choice, I guarantee you, and he chose the one over the 6. My opinion.
Yeah, and it's interesting because he finished 3rd on the one in the last 2 races. On the 6, he's been on board 3 times. He's finished first twice.
Right, so he knows. Yeah.
All right.
Again, the same owner and the same trainer.
All right.
They asked, who do you want to ride? You want to ride the 1 or the 6?
And that's another reason why the 1 is going to be the more wagered horse out of the 2, because everybody's going to notice that. So.
Right.
All right. The 2, Say the Word. This is a good one. I mean, Saez is having a great meet, and you're looking at not just 9s. Well, you got 9s and 8s as well. We just talked about the 1 having 9s and 8s. I also like the fact that the 2 has got an 8 in his last race compared to the 12 with the 1 in the last race. But what I like about the 2 over the 1, too, is, again, I think he's been better at 1.5 miles. He's raced a couple of times at Keeneland. He has a win at Keeneland. He's got a grade 1 win not too long ago. So, again, it's a tough race to handicap, but I'm kind of leaning with the 2 over the 1.
Yeah, I like the 2 for sure. I mean, D'Amato took over the training, and he's got an 8, a 10, and an 8. Now, remember now, guys, all these horses in this race are without Lasix. So the 2 horse already ran the 8 without Lasix last time out, which is strong to me,
Okay. The word Lasix.
Yeah, the 2 is also 4-for-4 in the money at this distance and 2-for-2 in the money at Keeneland. Yeah. So the horse fits nice to the track and fits nice into the race as well.
All right, now this is the horse that I'm definitely going to be playing in this race. Crafty Daddy, a 15-to-1 shot. I love the odds. Here's the deal. He's only 5, so he's inexperienced when you compare him to some of these other horses. And I use that as an advantage because I don't care about his last 5 races. They weren't on turf. So when I look at the turf races in his last 5, he's got an 11, 12, 11, 8, 10. So that's okay. It's not terrible. He does have an 8. So it's okay when you're talking about a 15-to-1 shot. I like the fact that he's won his only race at Keeneland. And if you look at it too, he has run. He's if you take a look at his earnings, meaning the races that he's raced in have been against better competition. He's actually earned a lot of money for only 14 lifetime races. So I think at 15-to-1, I'm gonna bet that this horse is gonna find a way into my exacta somehow, so I can make some money.
Well, I would never talk you off of 15-to-1, but. The 14 he ran last time was the first time without Lasix, and it was the worst race of his life. So keep that in mind. Also, he hasn't been on he had 1 grass race all of last year. Before that, something made them think that this wasn't a turf horse anymore. You know, I mean, his as a 3-year-old, he only ran on grass. Then last year he ran on the grass, and then the 7 that he ran was a race that was rained off the turf. You see the cue there? That means the race
Yes.
came off the grass,
Yes.
and the horse happened to win.
Yes.
So right away they figured, well, this must be a dirt
Yeah.
horse, you
Yeah.
know. So that's why they kept him on the dirt afterwards. And then this year they ran him on synthetic, which is similar to turf. You know, people they say turf and synthetic are interchangeable, but again, the 14 was without Lasix. It was on synthetic. Yeah, if he goes back to that 1/8 that he ran once upon a time, I guess he has a shot. But he's going to have to be a lot longer than 15-1, you know, to make it on my tickets. But
All right.
I don't. I'm never going to tell you to throw out a 15-1, Greg. If you like them, play
The
'em.
4 is 12-1, and the good thing about the 4 is that he has gone with the new trainer, 19, 16, and 10. That 10 was a win at Gulfstream Park his last time out.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're going to see that the rest of the field, or actually the entire field, all runs between an 8 and 10. That's why it's a really difficult race. Not only that, you also have to factor in a mile and a half. Now, not all horses could go a mile and a half. You have to be bred to handle that distance. And there are, you know, specialists that could go that distance. We don't know if this horse could go the distance. His last race happened to have been a 10, which was a big race for him at this point in his career. And it was a marathon distance. You know, the price is right. He's 12-1. If you want to use him, you certainly can. But in my opinion, he's more likely to react off of the 10 than to repeat the 10 or move forward. The last time he ran an 11 last year, he reacted to a 19 off of it. Now he's running a 10 with no time off.
Only a month. Yep.
Yeah, so that's somewhat of a concern.
All right, the 5 is another 12-1 shot. This is another maker horse, Rosario on board. So you do like that. This horse has run a 7. He's got an 8, a 9. That 7 was last November. This year he's run a 10, 11, and a 12. What about Monarchs Glenn?
He's fine. He was claimed out of his last race for 62.5, but he was claimed away from his super trainer, Safi Joseph, in Florida. Maker's certainly good, but I don't know if he's as good as Safi Joseph, but he has had tremendous success with horses that he claims and puts on the grass in marathon races. So at 12-1, you probably certainly should be using him somewhere in the mix.
All right, I'll circle that. Monarchs Glenn, a long shot to play.
Not only that, last year he has 2 8s, a 7, and a 9. Yes. You know, so that's faster than a lot of these horses have run. So if Maker gets him to one of those races, you certainly, you know, becomes
and
a
he's
concern.
Getting a rider upgrade.
Yeah, and he's getting Rosario, who's the master in these races.
For what it's worth, guys, half the horses in this race have never been this distance. The 5 horse being one of them.
Problem. That
Right.
you would always prefer playing a horse, Mark, that's been this distance as opposed to one trying it for the first time. And if you can find a horse that's had success doing it, well, that's more important than anything else.
Especially at a mile and a half.
That's why. That's what I'm talking about. At the mile and a half. That's what.
All right, we talked about the 6 Tie to the Sea. That's the 4-1 shot, the 3rd maker horse. The 7 is North Dakota, a 10-1 shot. You have a good combination rider and trainer there, but this horse has never run a single-digit race, and this is just 10-1. I'm surprised that the number's 10-1.
Well, I mean, you know, he's a marathon runner. He's won at going marathon distance. He's got a great trainer and a great jockey, Hall of Famers. So, you know, it's more, he's 10-1 more based on the connections and on the horse's ability.
The 8 we know nothing about, so forget the 8. If you can win on the 8, then more power to you. The 9 is Channel Cat, and this horse is running a lot of big races earlier in his career. Things haven't been working out very well. The trainer change from Pletcher to was that Sisterson hasn't gone very well so far.
Well, it's the horse that hasn't gone very well. You know, the last 2 years, he obviously is not the same horse he was early in his career when he ran 6s and 7s, and he ran 6s, a couple of 6s. Now he's got trouble getting to a 9. You know, I don't like this horse at all.
3 12s in his last 4 races.
Now, the edge to why you want to play this race is because the bottom horse, who's 3-1, I mean, off of the figures, doesn't look good at all. I mean, 2 years ago, he ran a couple of 8s, but last year he couldn't break an 11. Now he's coming off of a layoff, breaking from a very tough post.
Yeah.
And he's short price. You have to let a horse like this. Can he win? Of course he can. Mott's having a terrific year.
Yes.
Everything else that goes with it. But this is a 7-year-old who I think has seen better times. And again, tough post, short price, good play against, in my opinion. That's one of the advantages of having the sheets, being able to throw out horses.
Yeah, again,
like
because
that.
3-1 is the difference there. I mean, if I'm getting some better odds, but here's a horse.
Yeah, the horse is 15-1, sure. But why in the world would you play him before you bet the 1, the 2, the 5? I can name 4 or 5 horses I would bet before the 10. 10's going to be is the morning line favorite.
Yeah, even though he won that race, the Sycamore, that was an 11.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, good.
If he can win on an 11 on Saturday, then he beats us.
Right,
So,
that's exactly it.
What are we going to do?
Hats off to him for doing it, but at 3-1, 0 edge in playing that horse. When you bet horses, you want to try to get somewhat of an edge, and by edge I mean where you're getting a better price than the odds of the horse really winning are. Now, this horse's odds of winning are a lot longer than 3-1.
All right, I'll start first since I know that I'm not going to have, or you're not going to have what I have. So I'm going to do an exacta with 2 long shots. I'm going to do an exacta 2, 3, and 5.
Okay, that's not a bad exacta. I like you making a box 2, 3, 5 exacta box.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I'm betting the 2. I'll make a 2-5 small box 2-5 and bet the 2 to win.
Okay. Are there any horses besides the 2, 3, and 5 that you like, Mark?
I'm not going to throw the 6 horse out. I know that the jockey change and everything, and it's supposed to be a warning for what it's happened. But I still look at this horse. He's 2 for 2 at the distance. He's ran 1 time on this track. He won that race. He's 9 for 11 in the money in his career. He had a strong meet at Gulfstream down here. He ran in 3 races down here at Gulfstream in the winter meet. He won 1 and he ran 2nd in the other. If this horse goes off at a price, I think you have to put him in the mixer. I'm going to play him with the 1 horse as well. I think it's a money maker race.
He's not a price. That's a problem. He's 4-1. But everything you said is true. They're at Keelan and not at Gulfstream. But
yeah, what I should have said, John, was if he gets ignored and goes off at a price.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's the thing. If he can go off at 10-1. Then he's definitely a play. He has to be a play at 10-1.
Of course, you can play if he's 10-1. He'll never be 10-1. But listen, you never know.
All right,
I think it's possible.
Let's go with the other 9th race on our card today. That is the Oaklawn handicap. It's a grade 2 from Oaklawn. So this again should go off about 20 minutes after the race that we just handicapped, the Elkhorn from Keeneland. We'll start. This is a 1.125 miles. And we'll start with the 1 Silver State. And Silver State's 2 for 2 at Oaklawn Park, 8 out of 9 in the money. The thing that I noticed here is over the last 4 races, which he's won all 4 races, I've noticed that the last couple of races have been very close, and he's starting to go further in distance. And now he's got to go even a little bit further. So I just wonder whether or not he can. 5 out of 5 is really hard to do anyway. 4-1 is a low number. I'm probably going to stay away from this horse at 4-1.
I like this horse a lot. First of all, you should know one thing about Oaklawn. It's very hard to win there if you don't have a race over the track or you don't have a work over the track. You more or less have to have a race over the track or a work over the track. Because it's a strange surface. It's like no other surface that horses run on. There are certain tracks like that, and Oaklawn is one of them. You need to be able, again, to either work over the track or have a race over the track, and you have a big edge when that's the case. That's why I like the 1, because the 1, he's ran the 7 at Oaklawn. Asmussen's having a terrific meet. Santana's a terrific rider, and if I really get 4-1 on him, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's what I like the 1 more than anything out of the other 2 horses that I think are the top 2 horses we'll talk about in a minute, is that he's got better odds. And if you think about it, we are talking 3 7s which is almost like talking about 3 6s. So it's pretty impressive. He's done a really good job. We'll
Well,
see.
he has an edge over the 2 horse. First of all, the 2's carrying 4 pounds more.
Okay.
The two is a shorter price, and the 2 doesn't have a work or a race over the track.
Yeah.
Therefore,
well, I was just going to say, obviously, the reason why the horse is the favorite. You've got out of the last 5 races on this surface, he's got 3 6s and a 4. He's 1 for 1 at this distance. And yeah, I mean, that's the reason he's the favorite. He should be the favorite. But like you said, I mean, he's never raced at Oaklawn Park, and that maybe could be the difference.
Well, but I will give you 1 plus for him if you want a plus. He goes back on Lasix tomorrow, which is a plus. The 6 that he happened to have run last time and the 8 before that were without Lasix.
Okay.
So that's something to keep in mind. And listen, he ran a 7 as a 2-year-old, so he was eligible to be a real nice horse. And he is a nice horse. I just think that I'd rather take Asmussen than Sheriff's, with Asmussen having the home field advantage. Okay. Could the 2 win? Of course the 2 could win.
All right. The 3 is Fearless. This is a nice combo of Pletcher Ortiz. And really, if you look at these first 3 horses, I mean, these 3 horses have almost, you're talking about nearly $2 million between these 3 horses. So anyway, out of the last 4 races for this horse, 3 8s and a 6. The one thing I noticed at this distance, and I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, because they've both been bad races. So it's not like I go, well, if you look at it at this distance, these were 2 of his bad races. He finished 6th in both races. One was a 12 on the sheets. But time out. The 12 was off of a 6, so he figured to bounce. And the 12 had big trouble. You see the big T? This horse had big trouble in that race. Yeah.
So
that's why I was saying, I think it's more of a coincidence. I wouldn't worry too much about that. But 7-2, another good horse in the field.
Okay, so the 1, 2, and 3 are basically, you look like the solid horses in the race. By the way, the 3 also goes back on Lasix tomorrow.
Got it.
He wasn't on Lasix for the last race.
The 3's also 2 for 2 with Ortiz, by the way, guys.
Yeah. Well, but so the reason I am out of the 1, 2, and 3 was strictly because of price. The 1 has the price, and he's got the race over the track.
Yes.
So,
well, he's got the 2 wins over the track. Yeah.
Yeah, but he also has the race. Yeah. So I don't care if they won or not. The fact is that they had a run over the track. So, that's why I ended up on the 1 over the 2 and 3. But, the 2 and 3, if they won, it would be no shock to anybody. Certainly not to me.
Well, the other horse that is definitely in the running there is the 6, Owendale.
You got to go through the rest of the field. Why are you just surrendering?
Well, I'm not surrendering. I just figured we're staying with the favorites.
Yeah, okay.
Let's stay with the favorite kind of deal. Owendale's a 7-2 shot. He's got 2 5s last year. Matter of fact, he's got 5s even a few years back. This year, not so much. A 10 and a 9. That's definitely something to be concerned with. He does have 1 race over Oaklawn, so that's okay. He's been pretty good at this distance. 7-2. Why do you not like the 6?
Because you hit it on the nose. He's going to be bet because it's Brad Cox and it's Florent Giroux. I don't think he's the same horse he was last year. Last year, those 2 5s that he ran could have obviously hurt this horse for a while. Yeah, listen, he could be circling back around because the last race was a 9 and the race before that was a 10, so he could be headed in that right direction. But at a short price, let him beat me. I mean, he's not impossible. He's all right.
Yeah, but it's a tough race. Tough race to handicap. The 1, the 2, the 3, the 6. We'll talk about the other horses in the field then. The 4 is a 6-1 shot. This is a Cox horse who's 7 for 7 at Oaklawn Park. But his last 2 races are just a 10 and a 12, and he hasn't won since last February.
It would be no surprise because of the trainer, and he obviously needed his last race. It was his first race since last September, so it's possible for him to move forward. But I'd rather bet horses that are running the numbers now.
Yeah, I mean, the value of the horse is the best thing to like about him. The fact that he's 6-1.
That's not even long enough,
But
though, to be honest.
and he won't be 6-1. The problem is when you compare him to the favorites of the race, he hasn't run.
That's the problem. It's not like he has one horse to beat. He's got to beat at least 4 horses.
Yeah, and his best is an 8.
Right.
All the other horses have 6s and 7s and 5s. All right.
Exactly.
The 5, and nothing to like about the 5.
No, not really. He's 7 years old and hasn't run a single digit in 2 years.
And the 7.
7's a little interesting to me at 10-1. I like the 9s he has last year. He's run at Oaklawn. You know, his last race was an 8, which was good at Oaklawn. And the 3 previous races he actually has excuses for. 2 of them were on a wet track, and 2 of them were on synthetic racetracks. So if you look closely, last year he ran 9-9. Then he's got the 4 excuses. He's got the 12 on synthetic. He's got the 14 on synthetic. Then he's got 2 wet tracks. So he actually has gone 9-9-8. You see that? If you look closely, he's at least 10-1. You know, he's a drop slower, and he's drawn outside. Well, if he was drawn outside,
if you think about it, since you like the 1, he lost.
Yeah.
7 lost to the 1 by a neck in his last race.
Yeah. Yeah, but the 1 now has the rail, and the 7's drawn outside. So I don't think that was the situation last time.
No, the 7 was a 3, and the 1 was a 4.
Yeah, but the 1 I know, you know, he was wide and everything else. But the 7 was wide in that race also. Listen, just an idea at a big price somewhere, maybe on the bottom of your tries and supers.
An old horse, by the way.
Yeah, and he keeps going. Races. That's amazing. Yeah, but look at him. He's 8 years old, and he's firing away.
That's great.
Yeah.
And he's made $1 million. So he actually broke the $1 million mark in his 50th race.
There you go. And the bottom horse, I think, is too slow.
Doesn't have anything here to look at it. All right. So you said that you like what?
I like the 1. Listen, I think at 4-1, it's a fair price. I'll take it. I don't know if he'll really be 4-1. I could hope he's 4-1.
So 1 to win.
That's it.
All right, and I'm going to do a 2-6 exacta.
2-6.
Mark?
I think the 1 horse is the horse to beat here in this race. I love the fact that he's 2 for 2 at Oaklawn. It's Asmussen, 24% in the money. As John says, this is his home track. Lots of 8 out of 9 in the money in his career, 5 wins. And I'm going to play him with the 6 horse with Owendale here. I'm a big Brad Cox fan. He's off a huge monster workout in his last work here. 5 for 6 in the money at the distance. Brad Cox, as I mentioned here, I'm going to play the 1-6.
I was just about to say that Mark jinxed you, John, and he just jinxed us both. All right.
Oh, that's it.
Mark, Kentucky Derby week is coming up, and we're going to talk to you, of course, next week and the week after that. And in the meantime, playbooksports.com. Playbooksports.com,
exactly right. We're getting ready right now for the NBA playoffs, doing basketball newsletters, and we've got that big 2-for-1 special on John Sheets. Buy a track for $25 and you get a second track at no charge. Check it out, playbooksports.com, and click on the Playbook Horse Race Report.
And I have an aqueduct selection for everybody.
Right. John, let's get your free pick of the week.
Well, I'm giving out a race that's scheduled for the turf. They're expecting a possible chance of rain tonight, so this selection is for turf only. If the race comes off the grass, you have no bet. And it comes in the 5th race tomorrow. It's an allowance race on the turf, and I love the number 6 horse in here, Austrian. This is a 4-year-old colt from the Danny Gargan barn. Gargan took over the training of this horse 4 starts back, and since he got the horse, he's improved in each and every start. His main man, Kendrick Carmouche, is aboard to ride. He's listed at 7-2 on the morning line. And I like number 6, Austrian, turf only, to win tomorrow's 5th race out at Aqueduct.
All right, Johnny, you're right around the corner from the racetrack, right? A few miles?
I happen to be up in Saratoga now.
Oh, you're in Saratoga now. Okay.
Yeah.
How's the weather?
It didn't stop raining in the last 24 hours.
All right.
But they were expecting snow, so I'm happy. Rain. And it was 70 2 days ago.
Did they race in the snow?
They
Snow
race.
in mid-April? Wow.
Yeah, could you
All
imagine?
right.
They run an aqueduct in the snow in the winter, sure.
That's why I
So
left
if it
Ohio, John.
snows, they won't race on turf either.
Right.
Okay. Because you just said rain, so we got to make sure it's.
Well, as long as it's
wet.
not, as long as it's on the turf, I
Yeah.
don't care. All right,
All right, guys. Talk to you guys next week.
Thank you.